Welcome to the live stream. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and we got a great show for you tonight. So let's just see what we can do here. We have Studio B fired up, and again, it's just my garage, but I have the ATEM Mini Pro in there. So we'll see if we can make that transition and have decent audio tonight. So let me know if we are good. If everything looks good, I will hit the record button. For those of you that are always reminding me, I am now recording, and I'm actually ISO recording. So we're gonna have lots of different camera views, and so right now I'm looking up at my extreme number 1, and I do not see my ATEM Mini. So let's just go over here and make sure it is, oh, it is completely off the air. Uh-oh. Well, that's no fun. What could have happened? So we'll have to check that out. And everything was going. I had my streaming bridge in my preview, and now it's gone. So all of that work, oh man, I tell you what, I can't wait to tell you guys some of the plans I have for Studio B. And so I may just get up and see if I can do some repair, but we will see. So I want to say hi to everyone here tonight. And looks like we have lots of people here. Don't have a clue where I left my, oh, there it is. There's my phone. I have just been scrambling today. Anytime you do Studio B, I have to set up the ATEM Mini, and I can't wait until it is done and I can just fly in there. So let's just do this, see if we can even get chat on the air here. Let's try this. Early in the house tonight is Freddie, and let's put chat on the air. So it's good to have you back, Freddie. I missed you last week, just in case you did not know that. So any chance we can compare the Instant 360 to the Tiny 2? Well, I don't have one yet, but we are going to talk about that here tonight, so stay tuned. I can tell you that I saw one quote on Aaron Precky's channel in the chat that one of his listeners actually got one, and he has already exchanged his Instant 360 for the new Tiny 2, and I have the web page up, so we'll talk about that device. Again, neither of these devices are inexpensive, and if you want to buy the remote, you'll have to pay a little bit extra for the Tiny 2, and we've talked about how now you can use your phone as a remote control with the Insta360 link, and I'll demo that again here tonight if you remind me. Let's see here. I'm glad you're here too. It's good to see you here, Hank. Thanks for joining me. Third seat tonight is Tony. Good to have you, Tony. Hank says he's got the front row as well. Let's see. Anybody else here in the chat? If I can get it to catch up. We have TVJ. Good to have you, TVJ. Again, check out his channel. He streams on Monday nights. I haven't been able to attend the last couple weeks. My life has just been out of control. I'm not complaining. I'm going to have to try to have as much positive energy tonight. But, you know, everybody has challenges. Even today, I put out an emergency text out to Tony because my internet went down, but it looks like we're 5x5 tonight. So that is great. And hopefully the audio is good. The levels look okay. Let me just see if anybody said anything yet about audio tonight. Man, I wish this chat app would get, Chrome extension would get fixed so it doesn't have the menus popping up all the time, but it still does that. So let me know. I'm sorry I'm late tonight. Let me know if everything's going great. We got to say hi to Joe. He's also asking me if I got a haircut. Yes, Joe, I got a haircut. I groomed up tonight. So hopefully everything's good. Thank you, Hank. Everything's 5x5 according to Hank. Again, I moved my Wacom tablet off of the table onto the desk, and I wanted to demo this tonight. Let's see. I would have to steal camera 2 here, so let me pull one here. I do not recommend this at home. I am pulling, oh, what did I do? How did I pull camera 2? That's weird. It just reset. That is so weird. Let me plug this in, and then we'll continue saying hi in the chat. But I want to demo as much as I possibly can. I believe it's why a lot of you come. So I'm going to, again, use an HDMI cable with my tether adapter. I have to move this to Studio B tonight if I can get everything working. Again, my ATEM Mini Pro is completely off the internet, so it's not my streaming bridge. It's literally, it doesn't show up when I go into the control software, so we'll see what happened there. Plug that in. And now what I'm going to do is plug my phone in here and open up the older version of Filmic Pro. And then I'm going to have to make one more change here. I'm doing this the hard way here tonight. So output number 2, I will make camera 4. And then let me just, let's do this. Let's bring up a super source. So let's go, me and my iPhone here. So go this way. See, I have another me and my iPhone here. Let me find it. Somewhere over the rainbow. I know, don't quit my day job. There it is. Okay. Let me reset this super source. Input 2, extreme out number 2. So my Wacom tablet was right here, and now I have it up there so I can actually see the chat. So it's really acting as another monitor. I can just reach up there and put a chat on the air if I had chat on the screen, which I do right now. So we'll take that down just by tapping on it again, and it comes down. So you guys can see this. I'll get in a little closer. So if I click on Freddy's right there, it'll pop up. And if I click on Joe's, it's right there, and he missed Freddy. It's good to have you here, David. There you are. Awesome to have you. DJ Ware in the house. Thank you so much. Okay, so now that I have everybody here, 5x5, thank you very much. Jay says he's heading to the transmitter site, and if everything goes well, he's planning on going live tonight. Okay, so he's going to go live tonight, so that's really cool. So let me change back to this other view here. So that's tethering my iPhone. Again, I had my ATEM Mini Pro on the network. I did have network issues tonight. I plugged into the wrong port on a new Netgear modem that I have, or switch/wireless modem that I have in the garage now, so I can set up a virtual network so I can work in there with the Studio Live board, and I plugged into the wrong port. I was supposed to plug into my ATEM, and for some reason I decided to plug into the modem, and it gave me an error on my modem in my house, and all of a sudden I had no internet. My wife came downstairs. She's in the middle doing paperwork. She has no internet, and everything she does is on a live app. So it's crazy that if you lose internet, it can shut down the house, shut down the work, shut down the business, but that's what it did. So I do have it busy tonight. I have a meeting I have to go to at 7 o'clock, so we're going to wrap up sometime around 5:30 tonight so I can get changed and get ready to head over to the other side of town. But that's really cool. So tonight we're going to talk about my studio journey, and I just wanted to touch on this real quickly. But before I do that, and then we're going to talk about the Osbot, we're going to go into Studio B if I can get everything working. I will have to leave the desk for a minute, so if you guys are okay with that, go ahead and say leave desk. Don't leave desk. One of the two, because I am going to have to go figure out why I lost my ATEM Mini Pro. I don't know if I tripped over the cord or something, but it's completely off the network. And I will look up here one more time, connections, and nothing. No ATEM Mini Pro. Oh, it's there. Okay. So if it's here, let me connect to it. And let's go to output. And it is off the air. So let me go back on the air with it. And that should bring me to my, yeah, so I'm back on the air. That's good news. So let me get out of that and connect back to my ISO number 1. So I am monitoring 3 ATEMs tonight, 2 extreme ISOs and 1 ATEM Mini Pro. And I'm using the streaming bridge tonight. So just so you can see Studio B, I will cut to it right now. There's Studio B waiting for me to sit in that chair. That's right. That's my garage. That's my wife's mess. I did not put the green screen up behind my desk tonight. What the hey? You all right? So anyway, so that's what we're going to do tonight. So before that, next week, Halloween night, right after the live, we're going to have a live stream on MixEffect. I'm going to go through the app. I'm going to show you all the cool things it can do. So that'll be exciting. I'm going to display my iPad. I'm going to display the control software. So you can see that we can automate the control software with MixEffect. Also can control more than one ATEM by just switching on it, just like you would in the control software. So after that, we're going to have a Halloween night Zoom call. If you'd like to be on that, email me and let me know. Some of you have my message. You can message me. Many of you can email me. Some of you have already let me know you want to be a part of that. I will schedule that it's going to be about 5:15, 5:20. We're going to only have a 1 hour, maybe 5-minute stream next week. And then we're going to go on a Zoom call. The Zoom call will not be live, so you're not going to be broadcasted, but you'll be able to meet other people here on the channel. So I hope all of you guys will come. I know many of you are all over the world and the times are going to differ. So obviously the post show used to be at the same time. So if you attended my post show, you'll be attending a Zoom post show. I promise that Ratso is going to make an appearance in that Zoom call. And when we hit 2,000 subscribers, which we're really close, we're under 60 away. Make sure you like and share the videos, and that will help me out to get there. So again, we're going to talk about the Osbot new HDMI out camera that was announced that will release somewhere around Christmas, I think. Some people already have them. I don't know how that happened. And we're going to talk about Studio B, and I'm going to give you an update when we're out there of what's happening. I have the Studio Live set up. I'm using a Beta 58 microphone as an overhead mic out there. So we're going to try to use the Studio Live in the live show tonight. Instead of using a Rodecaster Pro in that studio. So that'll be interesting. And we'll spend about 10 minutes in Studio B right before we wrap up tonight. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. So join me next week for a MixEffect live stream at 4 p.m. This Washington time. And again, daylight savings time is coming, so it's going to mess us all up again. Following that, Halloween night, you don't have to dress up. You can dress up. You can bring candy, bring your favorite drink, and bring your favorite item, or be ready to share your favorite new tech, because everybody's going to get a chance to do that. And if you'd like to give us a studio tour of your space, that's fine as well. Just join me, and that will be a Zoom call. I will send that link out to everybody that reaches out to me. I will send that out next week. If you're brand new to the channel, you want to join us, just go to my channel. The link will be in the description tonight at the end of the show. And you can go to my contact page, fill out the form, and then leave in the notes that you want to join the Zoom call. And they're once a quarter, and it's free, and you don't have to subscribe or anything to join that. Just let me know that you want to join that, and just be respectful if you do join that and you haven't been a part of the live streams before. So, okay, so let's move on. Let me just get in the chat here, see if anybody else has joined me. Okay, it's populating. Let's see. Let me go back and make sure I haven't missed any questions here. Okay, David said he had the jet. So we'll see you later, David. Thanks for popping in and enjoy the stream delayed. I can bring candy, but I can't get it to you guys. So, okay, I will add you to that, Joe. I have your email, and Ratso will be here for that. So he will be the co-host at the very beginning of that Zoom call next week. So you'll have to join that to be there. So here's the leave the desk. That's 1 vote, 2 votes. David says the audio's fine. That's great. So 2 of you said leave the desk. I don't have to now. So we'll move on. I got everything working. So when I do leave the desk, I will be going back to Studio B, and there'll only be a short pause there. Okay, Tony, you're in. I will send a link to Joe and to Tony, and anybody else, let me know, and I will make sure that you're included in that as well. Now, we do have a delay, so I'm going to let the chat catch up. So no more votes needed on leaving the studio because I don't have to now. I got everything working, and I can see the camera, the Extreme out number 2. I can actually turn the audio on and off. So if I go into, let me share me and my laptop here. Let's go to palettes here, and I will share my screen here with you fine folks. So right now that is my Extreme number 1, and if I go up to File and Connect, I can connect to, I thought it was off the air because it doesn't show up on the list, but if I scroll up, there's my ATEM Mini Pro. Here's my Extreme. So if I click on my ATEM Mini Pro, let me do this first off camera. I'm not sure what screen's going to pop up. Yeah, we're good. So let me put it back on. So this is my ATEM Mini Pro. I wanted to talk about this just a little bit tonight anyway, because when you have an ATEM Mini, you have only these 4 inputs. And then and you have 1 key, upstream key, and 1 downstream key. Up over here, you see there is no super source on the list. You only have 1 media pool, and that's right here. So you only have 1 media pool, and we go to an Extreme, you're going to have 2. Actually, I've been asked to review a device. Hopefully that'll happen in November, that has very similar features to the ATEM without control software, and we'll see how that goes. That's by OC. So hopefully they will follow through, and I'll get to review that live. But so again, so you still have the ability to hook up HyperDecks. You have upstream key, you have a downstream key. But when I go over here back to my Extreme ISO, now you can see that I have 4 upstream keys, 2 downstream keys. Now Super Source is in the list. So you've added Super Source here. You also have the Super Source icon down here, and up here in the 2 rows. Again, the top row is what's live, and the bottom row is what's ready to go live. So if you want a key to follow something, like if I want the key to follow this camera or this view, I can turn that on right here. It'll follow only this view. So if I was to cut to just camera 2 like that, let me do this again. So this is, the logo's on all the time as I go back and forth between Super Source. But if I tie the logo to this view by hitting that button, now watch what happens. The logo goes away. And if I untie it with this button, then the logo stays on all the time. So that's a feature in both devices. So not only do you gain 2 media pools, here they are. You've got media pool here and media pool here, so I can have my background for Super Source, which is behind me, behind these 2 windows right now, up all the time. And then I can use this key to be my logo, so I can have both of those medias on. They're both on the air right now, and that is super important when you're doing live streaming, because if you want to have a super source with a background, you have to have a media pool dedicated to that. So I love the differences that you get with an Extreme. Even though I still love my ATEM Mini Pro, it's great for me to be using to roll over to Studio B. Okay, so let me change views here. And let's move on, because I do have lots to cover tonight. Let's double check which one I want here. First, let me just say this. Shout out to one of my favorite live streamers. This is Aaron Parecki. He has a video over on his channel. You can see his little icon down here. Aaron was on the chat a number of weeks back, which was really cool for me. And Aaron is actually at the Osbot booth at IBC 2023 just about a month ago, and he got to interview them and talk to them about the camera. So you can go over and look at that video. That's Aaron Parecki. Let's see, that's my live stream stat. You also have Geekazine. He has one on it as well. So go check those videos out and see what you think about this new camera. So here we go. So this is the Osbot Tail Auto Director AI camera. And so the big thing about this new camera is that it's got a little bit of improvements. Not going to go into all the details tonight, but I think it's important to talk about this camera because I'm looking at all the options. What I love about this is it's added HDMI. You can see right now it's sold out. So they probably did pre-orders. Here's a bunch of reviews. I will put this link in the description tonight. So I just copied it. So you guys can go over there and check this out. But customer reviews, here it is, AI tracking, following, pretty cool. And so you got the ability to move around your studio. So I really like this. You have gestures just like the Insta360 Link. The Insta360 Link will follow you, but I think this is just a little higher technology. You got a multifunctional studio app available as well. I have never tried it. So again, that kind of stays with the Insta360, new changes. And I think they're really scrambling at Insta360 to try to stay up with their Link camera. And they're probably going to come out with an upgraded version of it. But they do have the ability to do an app now, and it's web-based. So here's what's in the box. But here's one of the things I really wanted to cover tonight. Does the Osbot Tail support live streaming, have HDMI signal out? Yes, you can either push RTMP streaming directly to a live platform from your phone app through cellular, or push RTSP streaming through desktop software like OBS currently. We haven't added ACIM output for the Osbot Tail. Please keep tuned. So in reality, their new version that you can't find any specs online adds HDMI out. So I just wanted to let you know that you got to go to these pages if you want to learn more and check out these videos on this Osbot camera, because it was just announced at IBC, and in reality, even their old Osbot camera is sold out. So this new one is going to probably sell out pretty fast as well. And you can see this video is about the Osbot Tail Air and the Tiny 2 AI camera. And I'm not going to play Aaron's video because I don't have audio turned on, but you guys can watch this video as well. And I will link both of those in the description tonight. So I think it's a game changer. That's why I'm bringing it up tonight, that these guys at Osbot have brought a new device into the world of streaming, as well as web cameras used for all kinds of classes and things like that. And I think it's pretty interesting. Now, these are pretty small sensors. They're 1 and 1.25, I believe. So keep that in mind. So it's not going to be like having a full DSLR, full frame sensor. So they're not going to perform really good in low light. But if you have a really well-lit studio, and again, the more light, the lower the ISO on those cameras, and then they're going to get a great picture. And because they have a 4K sensor, they can get really good video. And the sensors are very similar, and a lot of them are identical to the ones that are in security cameras. So people like Tony and Joe and people on the channel that have used security cameras before will understand that there's some crossover going now in these webcams. These chips are pretty readily available, pretty inexpensive for manufacturers. So to have these 4K chips inside their web cameras is really helping us out to save money in studios. You're still going to spend $300-400 for these cameras, but imagine if you could just run your studio off these little remote control cameras and you're able to send out RTMP streams. So you could do that, and that gives you a mobile camera in your studio. So you could tether your phone, or you could send it through OBS, or you could have an RTMP receiver of some kind, and then you could receive that signal. And it's pretty powerful. Now, if you go over to Aaron Parecki's channel, you're going to see he's demoed that camera. He brought it up again, I believe, this Sunday or last Sunday in his studio. So he's had a couple that they sent him, and he's been playing around them for a while. I think he may have brought them back from IBC. I'm not sure. So that's the Osbot camera. So now what I wanted to do is see if you guys have any questions. And again, I apologize for not having a better website to take you to, but there really isn't anything that I can find posted other than a bunch of advertisements popping up on people that have wrote blogs. And I did not want to scatter those all over the screen tonight. So, okay. So let me get down here in the chat. Yes, I can still leave the desk, Joe. Okay. This is a great question. So can I explain two media pools? Let's say, for example, on the Constellation 2 ME. So media pools are, again, let's just put me and my desktop on the screen again here. And I'll slow down just a little bit with this. Not talk slow, but... So on the screen right now, let me put that question back up here. So there's Tony's question. You can see on the right-hand side of the screen, this is the media pool, and there's room for 20 stills inside the Extreme and the Extreme ISO. And then if we pop over to the ATEM Mini Pro, you have 20 as well. But the big difference is you can only have one ready to display on the screen at a time. So the ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, they only have one media player ready to play. Now, when you get into the new console devices that came out earlier last year or this year, they actually have the ability to play frames of video. So they're able to also play up to 60 frames of video, and obviously, you can do the math. If you're doing 30 frames per second in your live stream or 60 frames per second, you can have a video flash on the screen for a logo or for a stinger or something like that for a few seconds, like if you're doing a transition between segments. But the ATEM Mini line, the console ones that go on the desk or the desktop models, they pretty much only have one or two media players and no way to play video back. So when you get up to the bigger models, they have larger media players as well, and a possibility of putting more stills. Like right now, I have a bunch of stills in here on my ATEM Mini Pro, and then if I go up to my ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, I have it loaded up with the ones I wanted to show you guys tonight for me and my 12-year journey with my studios, which we're going to take about 10 minutes here to talk about after I get done answering Tony's question. So I can have one or two of those up and ready to go. So what I do is I use a macro. It looks like this. Where am I at? It's called Me in a Slideshow. Somewhere over the rainbow. Slideshow and Me. And so that is my studio that was in my old house. And so I'm just going to now drag and drop, Tony, from the media player. So I just hold my mouse over the next still. And let's say I wanted to take you guys back to, let's see, what other shot I have. Me sitting on my chair in the control room. So you're looking into the main recording room. That was my old garage. So it's a garage-sized studio. And I could have drums in there, amplifiers in there, had 2 panes of glass right there dividing my control room. And then here's me sitting in my control room. Here's a bigger view of my old control room. And here's me racking my head around soldering 100 wires in that studio. And so I'm just dragging and dropping those still images into the top box in the media player. So I'll go back to that again. So I'm just dragging these over. So right now my logo's on the screen, but if I was to grab this now and bring it over, it's going to cover up SuperSource. Again, because this is not a keyed graphic. The one that's up there in the media player is transparent. This picture's not. So I'm going to drop it right now by letting go of my mouse, and watch. The background will stay because it's in the bottom right hand box. And I'm about to drop in the top box up there on the right, the still image, and it's going to cover everything because that key is on the air right now. It's that logo. So I'm dropping this logos in that media player, and now I'm dropping the still image, and I'm going to disappear, and then I'll drop the logo back. So there I disappeared, and now I'm back. I could drop this sliding graphics. It's designed for a transition. I can drop it on there, and I can drop the writing on there, and I could then drop my logo back in there, and you guys can see all that happening. So the media pools are available at different levels as you go up the chain. And when you get into the big 2 MEs, then it's like having 2 ATEMs all tied together. Like I have an extreme feeding another extreme in my studio. I can only send 2 channels from the extreme version 2 into 1 because it only has 2 HDMI outs. But when you have a 2 ME, you have all of that intertwined. I've never owned one, so go over to Aaron Precky's channel or John Barker or some of those guys if you want to know more about those 2 ME consoles. So hopefully that answers your question. So yeah, as far as simultaneously, I don't know. I think you have to switch MEs. So when I was watching Aaron's channel, he's got to choose inputs from ME2. He's got to choose inputs from ME1. And when the software is on the screen, it's literally like my software. Let's go back here. Like this software, it's like doubled up on his software. There's one ME, which is what you see on the screen now on the top, and another one on the bottom. And it looks like a lot to take in if you're doing that in a live stream. But like anything else, you can ride a tricycle, you can ride a bicycle if you practice and you get muscle memory and you do it over and over again. Wrapping my head around my studio now is 10 times easier than it was a year ago when I was integrating 2 ATEM Mini Extreme ISOs into the same studio. And I did that because I want to have all the inputs plugged into the ATEM that I possibly can. And even with all the things plugged in, I still had to unplug something tonight to plug in my tethered iPhone because I have my streaming bridge going into where my Apple TV normally comes in. So this was the only way to show my iPhone. And I also want to take the iPhone into Studio B so I gain another camera to put on the air. So, and when I go into Studio B, which we're going to do here pretty soon, I'm just going to be able to cut to camera 3. And then I will walk in there, turn the audio on, and I'll be sitting at that chair. So that's Studio B. I love the idea of Studio B, and I have my plans in there, and we're going to spend a few minutes talking about that. So any other question about the Osbot? about things going on in this studio before we move in to Studio B, and I share a little more in there. And as you're doing those questions, let's go back to me in a slideshow. And let me just walk you through this real quick. I thought this would be a cool conversation tonight. I've done it before, but I wanted to do this again. So this is a studio I built at my house. I put a new garage on the front. Here I am at the desk. There's my old Studio Live 24 channel board. It was one of the first ones that they came out with. They had a 16 and I think a 24, and I purchased it. It would act like an interface, which means that you could use it to record from it. So you're basically coming in with XLRs. You have an analog strip at the top for gain, and then everything that goes to the computer goes through USB digitally. So all they've done is gotten better and better at it, more and more abilities, more and more things built into the board. And so that was 12 years ago about when I bought that board. I donated that board to a local church because it was pretty well obsolete after I had it. I think that was about 7 years ago. I donated it. They gave me a tax receipt, and we wrote it off in our taxes. And I think it was valued. We figured it like, I think like $900. I paid over $2,500 for it. And now I have the new Studio Live 32. So I'm very familiar with mixing and mastering music and tracking, but everything was done in the studio. So once I decided to move forward, I decided to build a new studio in my house. So I took over a bedroom upstairs, and here it is getting the final sheetrock put on. There's the hat channel that I hung on. Those are isolation brackets in the corner. Here I am putting the hat channel up in those little isolation brackets. Then you have to put the insulation up. And this is all going on upstairs while my wife was painting my studio downstairs and taking it over for her practice. I had very little money coming in from my recording studio at that point. We were transitioning. Shannon was her business was expanding. My business in the studio was decreasing, plus it was a nonprofit studio. So we were working off of donations and some money coming from artists and producers. And it was a blast. I got to mentor some people. I got to hang out with great musicians. I got to hear great music. And it was a blast. But I moved upstairs to create like a control room. Here it is after it's all done again. Sheetrock was put up, and I have other pictures here. I won't bore you guys with those. Let's see. It was, where were they? Pictures. One of these I do want to show you. We're using this green glue. Let's see, I already showed you this picture. We're using green glue between the 2 layers of sheetrock. So yes, there was 2 layers of sheetrock. Here's an example of how the outlets would stick out. Did it go? Nope. Let's try this again. So the outlets would stick out like that. I had to put acoustic caulking around those. That's right before the second layer of sheetrock. So that's right before you put the green glue on. And the green glue, let me find that picture here. Got a nice shot of green glue. Here's somewhere going on a board. Come on, where are you? There it is. And here's green glue going on the board, and that's acoustic glue, so it vibrates at a different tempo. So you have 5/8, then 1/2-inch sheetrock, and then you put green glue in between it. You lay that over top of isolation brackets, on hat channel. So the only place that sheetrock touches the wall is where the hat channel is. And that hat channel, if it was attached to every 2x4, that would create still some vibration. So when you're really desperate to cut down all of that sound, not only do you use hat channel like that, you literally use these isolation brackets. I don't have a close-up of those. This is as close as I can get you guys. But you can see there's one without a hat channel in it on the right, because that's a corner wall. And so you can see that that little isolation bracket has one nut holding it out. So now the hat channel is hanging on that. And behind that one nut is the isolation bracket. And inside the isolation bracket is thin layer foam, which also cuts down the vibration for what that aluminum would vibrate at. So it's quite high tech. And because of that, you can really create a controlled environment. And here you have my mastering room all completed. It was upstairs. There's a 50 amp panel I put on the wall. And I had a keyboard in there on the back wall. I don't think I have that picture right now. But lots of work going into building that studio. And I even put in a, let's see, I'm going to drop this right here. I even had to put an extra window in. So this window actually is two windows. So one window behind the other window. So that would cut down on sound coming from outside. And so it made a great studio. Here's a desk shot. And I actually built the desk as well, which was a lot of fun. And then I sold it to someone when we moved out and sold that house. I'm just looking for a desk shot here. And it's here somewhere. I'm just not. Oh yeah, here we go. So first I built all these counters in my original studio myself. So here they are. Here they are kind of finished, and I'm sitting in that corner. And then again, the new finished studio. And then here's the desk that I built right there. And that's when I originally got that bat cape. But I built that desk, designed it myself, put it together, and that's what you see in this side shot right here, sitting in the corner. And it worked out amazing. So then, because we had to move, Shannon's dad had a stroke, so we needed to get our two houses side by side. There was no place anywhere near us that they could live and make it easy for Shannon and I to get back and forth. We wanted them across the street or next door. Then we basically took the leap and built two houses side by side. And I'm looking for another picture here. So here's Shannon and I actually on that property for the very first time that I'm on right now, before the house was ever built. Here's the day we were sitting in the cafe about a mile from my house, and I was pointing at the property. We had just explored it. We had signed a deal on it, and I was basically pointing. There was no houses out there at the time, and I was pointing at the future house location. And then here's just a house shot of it being framed. And so we built this house. Shannon's mom and dad built a house right next door. And we went from nothing. There I am parked in front of my house floor before anything was framed. And it's been quite an incredible journey for us. So we got into this house. I built the man cave. And there I am in the man cave. And in the man cave, I could sit right across from my TV, which you guys see over my shoulder. And that two racks there had a sofa table over it. And there's a PC in there that's going in that rack. I think the PC's actually in this other shot. Oh, I don't see it now. I didn't put it up there. But here is the 3 chairs. I think I told you guys that my father-in-law needed some help. And so in the man cave, the 2 left chairs were lift chairs, and the right chair was just a recliner, so they would lift and recline. So I could lift up and set this pad on my lap and have a mouse on one side, keyboard is in it, it's a lap board. And so I could sit there and do voiceover, I could mix, I could master using the big TV over my shoulder as my monitor. And because of that, I had a man cave, and I was quite excited about that man cave. Oh, it's upside down. Give me a break. Let's try this one. So there I am in the man cave, and I could sit there and watch football and all that stuff. And this closet was just a closet. I had stuff in it. I was storing my cameras and all that stuff in the closet. And now I am actually sitting in the closet with my desk. So then, you know what happened? Things got weird in our world. And so I kept it as a man cave, and I moved in the bedroom, and I started learning how to live stream. There's my Canon 5D Mark IV, I think, at the time. There is a Logitech webcam, and that is the corner of my bedroom. That became my studio for live streaming in this house. And the man cave stayed the way the man cave is. And then you guys know the rest of the story. I sold the chairs and kept one, and it's in my bedroom, the far right one. I sold the 2 lift chairs. I bought those 3 little chairs that you see over my shoulder right there, and we converted this room, moved this desk from the bedroom into this corner, and that desk may go to the Studio B with me as well. So that's the journey. So I had and I didn't even go all the way back before my first studio. I was in a den with a roll-in recorder, and so that's when I really started recording. I forgot to grab those pictures, but I was recording even before that studio. That studio where I'm sitting, my back is almost to the den. So I opened up the den, I opened up the garage, so I'm actually sitting in one part of the garage. The rest of it's used for the main recording room, and the other side was used for the control room. And then in the back of my den, which was now the control room, I had a vocal booth, so I could turn around and talk to the artist in a closed vocal booth, and I could talk to the drummer and bass and lead guitar player in the control room. So it was quite a journey. So Studio 1 in the den, Studio 2 converted in the garage. Then I went upstairs, Studio 3. Then I came into the man cave, and that would be Studio 4. Then that stayed there until it became Studio 5, which it is right now. And then I also was in the bedroom, so we'll call that 6, even though that was mainly live streaming. Not really doing a lot of audio production in there because I still had the man cave set up to do mixing and mastering in here. And then now I've converted the man cave to the studio I have right now. And I think you guys have seen plenty of this studio, but for the sake of the people that are watching tonight, let me throw this still image up here. Where are you? Here we go. So this is kind of a look from the back wall to where my desk is in this bedroom. And so you can see there's no chairs anymore. I can set up my table. Those lights are mounted on the roof. I have more lights up above me on the back on an auto pole. And so it has been a journey. And now we're literally talking about changing things up to that bottom left-hand picture, Studio B, which is the garage, which brings me to my segue. So let's go into the chat before I move into the garage and just see if anybody else has anything here that is pertinent to this journey. Yeah, Osbot also, Freddie, you're right. They have a converter that will convert from USB-C to HDMI, and that's available on their channel as well. And I think you're right, they have version 2. Yeah, I should do eventually a studio tour standalone too, and I will do that, Jay. I just have been so busy working inside the studio, learning my new soundboard. That's where I've been spending all my time, and I got a lot of things accomplished this week. So let's do this. Let me go to Studio B. I'm going to take my tether with me. Let me unplug this. Take my iPhone with me, and we will change to Studio B camera. And let me mute this mic, and I'll meet you over in Studio B, guys. Okay, how about now? I can't get into it from the other room, so how about now? Am I live in the main stream? Oh, I wish the chat was faster. Are we good? Is there audio? Is there audio? Okay, we have sound. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, what I didn't do is turn on extreme input. So let me just bring it up here and so I can make sure the audio sounds good. Let me know if it sounds okay. I know it's a bit echoey. I will try to wrap this up talking as loud as I can. But again, I have no soundproofing in this. It's just a big garage, so it's going to be very echoey. And I do have my microphone right here off of the top of my head here. I should have had this open already. Test. Check. Okay, so let's move on. We have good audio, right? Some sort of distortion. Well, let's switch mics. Is that better? Check. Check. Let me know if that's better. That's my lapel mic. Okay, so let's move on. We have good audio, right? How about now, guys? Well, let's switch mics. I'm going to listen to see which mic sounds better. Let me know if that's better. Okay, I'm on the DJI mic. Let's move on. Let me button my button here. Looking too exposed. And so let me turn my phone down so I don't have to listen to my echo. So here was my original plans. Let's see if I can adjust this camera at all. So that was my original plans. And they weren't quite to scale. So I need this hallway to get from in my house to my other garage, into my studio. And I don't want the door here. I want the door down here so I can use my same desk. So I did some new plans, and these are kind of with the garage. So the big garage I still have is right here, and this is the studio. So I flipped things. You come in now, you go down, here's the entrance to my garage, and then here's the garage door here. Here's the other garage door that's going to come out, and this garage that I'm taking over is inset. I'm sitting in it right now, and this one isn't. But I've reversed everything so I can come in from my house. Shannon's office is up these stairs, and she's right above me. So her office is above me right here in the middle of the garage. So her office is right about in this space right here, and it's big. Her room will still be bigger than my room right here. And so I'm gaining about, this is the line of my studio now. So I have about this much space, but it's 1 foot narrower this way. So I'm gaining from this line here, I think it's this line right here. Yeah, this line right here would be right about here. So this is the old studio, and this is where the new studio will be. So I only gain that much space, but I gain a foot that way. And the reason I'm saying this or sharing this, let me fix the camera, is because, look at that camera right there. I don't have a confidence monitor over my camera. The reason I still want to move is because it gives me my man cave back. It gives me the ability to use it like I was using it before, though I may still have some cameras in there. I probably won't do any mixing and mastering, so I haven't decided exactly what Studio A will be, but I do want to be able to go to Studio A and Studio B when I'm live, so I may have some Blackmagic cameras in there, and they may all just be networked into this studio. I haven't decided yet. But the nice thing about the Presonus board, and let me tether now so I can show this to you guys. And I'm going to switch to this other view. The nice thing about this board is that it's got the ability to do a digital snake, and there is my digital snake right over there on the other side of the garage. And I think I can zoom here. So there's my digital snake, and I could have one of those in Studio A. I could have one of those in Studio B. And I even have had the crazy thought of right about where I'm sitting, instead of in my designs having a sheetrock wall the whole way to divide my studio, I might put in a window. And if I put in a window, a dual pane window, that means that I could use this garage area right here if I wanted to eventually to record an event. Though the acoustics are not great, I'd have to change some things in here, but I don't know. My wife thinks I'm absolutely crazy, and if I had the ability right now, I would set up picture-in-picture, but I don't have a computer ready to go in here. Now, I do have a computer. There it is right there. It's my son's old computer, but I didn't get time to get the control software set up. So, again, there you go. That's the computer screen, and then there's his old computer. And I'm going to be using that as my studio computer, and there is my cam link. Now I have my Facecam Pro up there, but it's not fired up. And then there's my Insta360 right there. That's my main camera tonight. And I can change views. I have this view set up. I have this view set up. I don't know what's going on. It's not moving now. I had 3 different views set up, but they're now not working. But I can move this camera around and give you a little tour of the garage. So that's the garage door that's going to go away. So that will be my studio. That's the door into the house. Oops. Go back. That's the door into the house. And then I'm going to have to get, I don't know what happened to focus just now. Oh, it's focused on the computer. Then I'm going to have to get through here. That's going to be my studio, and I'm going to have to get through to this garage to park. But the Insta360 camera is great. There are my speakers set up. I just can't spin all the way around that way. Let me go all the way back around this way. There's my desk, and there's my other speaker. And you can see I have my monitors on the floor as well. And I could take this sound live if I wanted to. They're hot and ready to go. But that's the studio. So I need to build the wall. And the wall is going to come right down this line I'm sitting on. And so right about there is going to be the garage door going into that garage. And that'll be the hallway going into that door. And then my door will be right about here into the studio. So this is the line of the wall. So we'll be building on this side of it, probably be a 2x6 treated board right there. That's what they usually require in a garage. And you can see I have my little station set up here. Got my keyboard, couple mice, my ATEM Mini Pro. This is my Netgear network that I put together for in the garage. Cost me $80. And then here is my Studio Live console. And you can see I have my Beta 58 coming through channel 1, and it's up. My mains are down. I'm not focusing right now. I'm not sure why. Try that again. My mains are down. I have channel 1 up, and you can see I have a signal on channel 1 right there. I have my wireless mic. It's on, but I don't have the mic on right now. And again, here's my ATEM Mini Pro, and obviously because of the frame rate, it's flashing like Christmas tree lights. And then you can see there's my stream. I'm on the air, streaming to my, streaming right there to my streaming deck. So, not stream deck, I'm streaming to my streaming bridge right there. So, I wish I had picture-in-picture set up, but I don't. Let me look at the chat here. Any questions about the studio? And Freddie, yeah, I am using the old version of Filmic Pro on my camera right now. You can see it's portrait, and it flips to landscape, and then this is Filmic Pro, and it's doing a clean HDMI out to you guys, but I can see what's on it, and there I am on camera. So that's what I'm using, and it has great functions. It is a great tool. I'll quit looking at the monitor over there. So it's a great tool, and you got a great shot of my chin there. So, okay, well, that's all I have unless you guys have some more questions. Yeah, I will have to heat up Studio B, guys. I do have, let me show you guys that. Let me zoom here first. Switch. All the way. So right in the corner there, you can see 2 units. Those are heat pumps, air conditioners. So I can fire those up. I'm all the way zoomed in. But they're right over there in the corner. That's what I use to heat up the studio. And I just put those under my garage door and put some plywood on either side of it and vent right out the bottom of my garage door. I just bring the garage door down on top of them. So you just lower the garage door down on a board, and then I have the window vents underneath the garage door, and it will heat up this room. It's probably right now 70 degrees in here, maybe 65. It's nice and cool compared to my studio. Okay, thank you for joining me. Any other questions about Studio B? Oh, I wanted to give you the update. So here's what we're doing. Sorry, I have a low voltage wire guy coming Thursday at 1 o'clock. I have a friend who is a electrical contractor, and he is going to come sometime this week, and we're going to walk through the plans, talk about what the cost is going to be. I'm going to see if he has any connections with those units that I'll be using for heating and cooling the studio. Still got to raise the money. Looking at the options to raise the money. So I'm putting all the plans together. I'm going to, once I decide the final plans in the studio, get cost on electrical. I'm having another cat cable run out here, cat 6, so that I don't have to put one on the floor when I want to stream from out here. So I'm trying to just slowly make a transition with the Studio Live and with my ATEM Mini Pro. So I'm set up here all the time. Right now I have a table in the middle of the garage. I can leave it up because I park on that side, Shannon parks on this side. So I've parked my desk right here in the middle of the two cars, and Shannon can actually pull in behind me and I can still sit here. I pull my car out into the driveway so I can mix and practice in here. So 2 people coming this week, and Shannon and I had a meeting last week talking about the pros and cons of doing Studio B. Is it going to bring an income in? We'll see. That's what we're really debating right now, but I am progressing in that I'm continuing to do research. I do plan on integrating the Studio Live console in my new Studio B. I still will have a Rodecaster Pro 2 in Studio B for turnkey podcasts, so people can come in, sit down, and hit record. So that will be there. If I'm producing for them, I will be producing through the Studio Live console. If I produce through the Rodecaster Pro version 2, it's just going to be a lower price, and I'll hand them a SD card, and they can leave with their podcast on it. If we do video, then it will be a different charge, and we'll go from there. I'm also doing some volunteer work, and it's just a crazy life I live right now. So that's an update on Studio B. Again, subscribe, like the channel. We're going to roll back into Studio A to say goodnight, but I do want to invite you guys again, if you're tuning in next week on October 31st, about 5:20 after our live stream on the MixFX app, which is going to be the only thing we're talking about next week except for Q&A. So we'll have about a 1 hour and 5-minute live stream so that we can meet Joe's qualifications for over an hour live stream. And then we'll be doing the live Zoom event. So again, I'll put a link in the description tonight so that you can go to my website and fill out the contact form. Or let me know tonight in the chat that you want to be included in the live stream. But again, I can't send you the invite unless I have your email. So if we've never emailed back and forth, make sure that you fill out the form and say that you want to attend the Zoom gathering, and make sure you have a tech ready to talk about, something you're excited about. It doesn't have to be live stream tech. It can be any kind of technology. You can dress up if you want to. You can bring your favorite drink. We're going to hang out for about an hour and 10 minutes. Everybody's going to get at least 5 minutes to either share about your tech or share about your studio in that live stream. Most of it's going to be listening to you guys share and enjoying getting to be on camera together with everybody else. It will not be broadcasted. I will not record it. It's only a Zoom meeting, and when it's over, it's over. So make sure you join that. So any last questions on Studio B? I don't see any here. Let me check on my phone. Tony, Filmic Pro, what is the end goal with having 2 studios and all the expensive audio gear? What is driving you all this? I mean, it's all nice and great to see you. Yeah. What is driving me? Insanity, Tony. I'm insane. I've done all these studios. No. What is driving me is I've already done the audio thing, and I got away from it because of the family crisis. The whole deal with Shannon's father, and then dealing with cancer with her mom, which is in remissions now. So it changed my whole direction. And so basically I'm kind of getting back on track with this. So I sold a lot of that stuff just because I couldn't fit it in this smaller house. And then everything happened in the last couple of years that drove me to live streaming tech. I do consulting. So the end game is continuing to build the business. I'm going to be able, I get calls still because of my old recording studio. bands in the area for recording, so I'll be able to do some smaller recording gigs, acoustic gigs inside the studio. I'll also be able to take the studio live remotely out for some live recordings. I'm going to do some live music events. I'm helping with a tent that's being set up 4, 5, 6 times a year that I will get some money from in the future. And so I'm going to be running sound for those events. There's 4, 5, maybe 6 of those planned for next year, maybe more. Those are all paying gigs. And so that's the live sound. I believe other live events are coming up. So the end game really is just to build the business. Gives me more things I can do videos on my channel. I will be doing a unboxing video on my new prompter by Elgato when it gets here. So if you didn't see that video, I talked all about the prompter last week. That's supposed to ship here in a couple weeks. So we'll be talking about that next month. I'm going to be using that in Studio B as well as a little Zoom deal. So it'll be interesting. I have some ideas for that with my turnkey podcasting situation for doing video and giving them a teleprompter. And so lots and lots of reasons for it, but that's just kind of it in the nutshell. It is about my retirement plan. I want to have a residual income, and I also want to continue to support Shannon and continue to grow in the area of tech. I also want to do some teaching. So I may do some part-time teaching in a local school, high school or college in the future. That's something I've been wanting to do, teaching live streaming tech, social media, and all of that. So I recently was asked to become a content manager for a new startup. So I'm processing that to see if I want to do that. So lots of things that are on my scope, and we'll talk more about that obviously in the future. But I hope that answers your questions, Tony. It's good to have you, Akil. From Germany, it's great to get you here. Yeah, definitely some potential income, Tony. So with that, guys, I am going to roll back into Studio A, and I'll see you over there in just a moment. I'm back. I should be live. That was quite the experience. Went way better this time than it did last time. One little hiccup. I'm sorry I couldn't put chat on the air, but thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Let me get things working here in this studio. Let me put chat on the air here. Okay. Yeah, I do need to change to David. Thanks for coming tonight and joining us. And I need to use the faster. It's lower latency. It's near real time. And I just forgot to make those settings. And I was so busy setting up Studio B, getting my streaming bridge and all that stuff working today. So that's on me. But I'm glad you're here tonight. We talked about Freddie and that question about Filmic Pro. I was using the older version of Filmic Pro, which I paid one-time fee and I can use it. The new Filmic Pro, new version, has lots of new features, but you have to pay monthly. And now you can use the Blackmagic camera app. I just wasn't using it tonight. I'm so used to using Filmic Pro. That's what I use tonight. We talked about the cold in the studio. We talked about Tony's question. Again, hello, Akil from Polka from Germany. And thank you for joining us. I hope you're getting something out of this stream. Yeah, and there's definitely some potential for income. And So I got to tell you, I've spent a lot of years in my life working in and around nonprofits. I had my own nonprofit back when I owned my studio. Prior to that, I was involved in nonprofits. So again, they're always asking for help, and it's really skill set specific. And so much has changed in the industry, and I really like to give time to nonprofits rather than just money. That, you know, money, they can buy things, but education is just as important. And so knowing how to do all this and going into a nonprofit and helping them with their live stream, occasionally there's money in it. I've had people hand me cash. That's, again, something that's happened when I was in and around nonprofit worlds. Sometimes they will just spontaneously pass a hat. But my goal is to have the education and the knowledge to help, because sound is an issue with lots of nonprofits, especially if they're trying to open up a little cafe with a small venue. My adopted daughter works at a local restaurant, and they're starting to do live music. And so I even thought about going over to see if that manager, because she works there, if he needed some help, but I've been just too busy. So I'm really trying to be as helpful as I can. And obviously having those skill sets makes a big difference. And so, you know, it's like if you have a baseball and you have a ball field and people love baseball, guess who they call? And so, yeah, it's really influence. And I also do consulting. And so now I can add some live sound consulting and talk a little bit more about digital patching throughout a venue. So audio is a part of everything live stream. We all talk about it. We don't focus on it usually, but having the ability to use the network inside my house to send audio to different rooms is huge. I ran so many cables in my old studio. It was crazy. I already showed you guys that picture of me spending all of that time literally doing patches. And let's see, me in the slideshow. I mean, literally all the patching that I had to do. It was hours and hours and hours. Now, a lot of that was I was patching for the board, but all of those cables went throughout the two rooms, and now it could all be just one digital cable. So you'd run the analog signals to the board. So you still have to have XLR mics from different rooms, but now they can go inside a stage box, and then it plugs into a cat cable. So you can just take an 8x8 stage box from PreSonus into Studio B or Studio A, and then plug everything in. You have 8 outputs and you have 8 inputs. So you could have 8 mics. That's 8 different microphones going on inside that studio and 8 outputs. So I could be sending audio into that room. It's crazy. I could be plugging in guitars because they have 1/4-inch line level and XLR. So it's great. They have phantom power built into them. So the idea of being able to have one board in one room and be able to manage all the audio in the other rooms. And you already know that I can network cameras. So I just have to put cameras in those rooms and a monitor, and I can talk directly to anybody in those rooms. So I could be in this room if I wanted to and talking to someone in Studio B. So I could have a turnkey operation, come in here and do a Zoom call, be monitoring what's going on in Studio B, and have a client in there paying me while I'm on a Zoom call consulting, so I could have 2 lines of income at the same hour. And there's lots of that. Plus, I plan on having a partner in the nonprofit side who will just rent my equipment. I'm going to train them. They will get paid. I will get a rental fee for my equipment, and we'll go from there. And I'll probably eventually have 2 Studio Live consoles here. So one will be remote and one will be in the studio, but we'll see. So lots of stuff going. So again, guys, next week, join me for a Mix Effect live stream. We're going to talk about Adam Tao's app and what's changed, how you can use it to make controlling an ATEM Mini Pro ISO, Extreme, and the other switchers. Again, he's designed it to control switchers. It replaces, or you can work with in conjunction the control software from Blackmagic Design. So make sure you come to next week's live stream, completely dedicated to diving pretty deep into mix effects, and I will control the ATEM with it next week. I'm going to switch switchers with it. I'm going to show you how to change the outputs. We're going to play around a little bit with audio follows video and actually automate camera changes. So it should be a lot of fun. I did have one of my Manfrotto's bolts fail. I've had to replace a bolt before. So I have a new handle that's stripped out and a new bolt coming. So my camera too, I'll have the parts to fix this, and I can remount it. Tonight I only have it over here on a tripod, but I can still cut two cameras. Oh, I can't because camera 2 died because my camera has been timing out for some strange reason. I think the battery inside died. So anyway, I do have my second camera available, and I even have the ability to switch the lights up so I look good on that camera, and then I can switch back and look good on this camera. So we're gonna play around with that. We're gonna use mix effects to let me move around the studio. Again, I can just unplug my iPad, grab mix effects, and run the studio. I can use my macros, and ready to go. So I could have taken this with me into Studio B and had more control. Again, because it's attached to my home network and it can go anywhere in the house. I also, in the future, will be showing you guys how the Universal Audio app, Universal Control, works with the PreSonus Studio Live board. They have an app as well. I learned how to use that this week. I learned how to connect everything. And also, the Extreme ISO will control Studio Live in my computer, so I can use my Extreme or my Studio Live 32SC as a controller. And so when I run the faders up, it runs the faders up in the software. If I use my mouse to run the faders up in my software, it runs the faders up in my PreSonus. And one of the cool things about the PreSonus is it has touch sensitivity. So if I'm making an automation, like if I want to auto change the volume of a song as I'm doing my final mix, I can raise the audio, and the minute I take my hands off those touch faders, then it stops doing any more editing to the audio. And that is another really cool feature about the Studio Live 32SC and all of their version 3 consoles, their touch sensitive faders, which is great for automation. So there's so much more to talk about that board. There's so many new products coming, like the prompter by Elgato that we're going to have in the studio in November. We're going to have a party when we hit 2,000 subscribers, which is going to happen based on the averages. That should happen in November as well. Ratzo's going to be there. We're going to do some fun things, and we'll have Studio B fired up for that. And who knows, we may have some party lights happening. We'll see. So get ready for that and watch my page. And again, thank you guys so much tonight. Make sure you hit the like and make sure you hit the subscribe if you haven't already. I've got to hit the road to an event here shortly, so I'm going to have to say goodbye. But again, it's been an honor to be together with you. It's so great to have everybody. I think I said hi to everybody. I said hi to David. I said hi to all of you. So again, I will drop those links in the chat before I leave. And so you can go there and fill out my contact form if you want to join the Zoom. So we can email you the Zoom link, and that will be happening next week after the live show at 4 o'clock. So I will see you next week live. We'll talk about mix effects, followed by our Zoom gathering. Hope to see your faces and each other's faces in that. And then we will be using the teleprompter or the prompter by Elgato when it gets here, talking all about that, running this through the paces. And I'll keep it up to date on those appointments this week. What's it going to cost to do my low voltage wiring, to put that one cat cable in from my son's old bedroom into the garage next week, so that I'm wired in there, and lots of things happening, what the electrical is going to cost, and you guys will get a chance to be a part of all of that. And if we start building and I have some volunteers that already said that they would trade me labor for some of the free stuff that I've done for them. So they've all will sign a waiver to be on video, so they'll be a part of that. So you guys will actually get to be behind scenes of the construction when we start building Studio B. And my goal is Studio B in the next year, and all up and running and actually able to broadcast from there. So that's my goal, and hopefully we will get there really, really, really soon. Okay, so chat on. We'll finish up with this. Please research best iPads for adding mix effects for next week. Okay, I will do that, Hank. Have a great week, Freddie. And do not forget the thumbs up. Thank you so much for that. Thank you guys so much for your likes. They do make a difference, and these videos go further, and subscriptions obviously help as well. Next week we'll look at what our subscriber count is, and we will I'll start doing a countdown as we get really close to 2,000 subscribers on the channel. So keep an eye on that. So make sure you ring the bell so you get alerted on every video that comes out on my channel. And as soon as I get that board really figured out, I'm going to be doing probably a whole series on that. I have an extreme ISO series coming out pretty soon. So lots of cool things happening in the channel. I get a lot of work done on my channel in the wintertime, and I'm looking forward to that season as well. So, okay. So that's it for me. I am out. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. And with that, I am going to go to my macro on Mix Effects, and I'm going to hit the outro live show button. Have a good week. Peace out. Have no clue why I just did that.